got one coming at you today. So, today we're going to talk about my first few weeks of Scatpack ownership, what I think of the car so far. But the big point of today, what are the main differences between the Supercharged V6 and the Scatpack, besides 2 cylinders, obviously. And go ahead and stay tuned because it ain't all favorable for the Scatpack. It ain't. But what we're going to do right now, we're going to go ahead and roll that intro.
Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can tell me all the fucks I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss.
I'm going to go ahead and get that cold start because I mean, who doesn't love a cold start? I know they're getting old, but I love this damn thing. Here we go. Here. Oh, good Lord. All right, everybody. So obviously we're in the car. You may see a little camera shake. If you don't, you know we're in the car. But what I wanted to get into today, a couple weeks of ownership now. We've already put over 1,000 miles on this car. It's already been to the track. We've already been doing some little hot lap runs. I love this thing. Absolutely. It's to the point now where some of you guys have actually reached out to me over social media and been like, dude, you just seem happier. I am. But it's not for the reasons you may think. Now, yes, do I love the sound of this car? Absolutely. Sound is great. The car is great. The amenities are great. Having performance pages with no glitch. I mean, the seats, even the seats feel better. I don't know how that makes sense because I don't think they have a different seat selection in Mopar. I could be wrong. If I am, just let me know in the comments. I'm sure you will. But these things, like, they hold you better. It's crazy. But some of the things that this thing outdoes the V6 in, the list is long. I'm not going to bullshit. So, let's go for a drive and talk about it. All right, so let's pull out here and go for a drive. So, first and foremost, this thing's comfortable. And what I mean by this thing is comfortable, it's not overly rigid. And what I mean by that is, like, the V6 was hella rigid. We had everything chassis mounted from the diff to, we had different mounting points for the seats. We were on coilovers. We even ran, like, heavy wheels. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Velgen. Velgen's on here too. But I mean, the whole car was very rigid. It was extremely mechanical. I mean, the Paramount Performance transmission, that thing, God, you could feel it shift. This HP70, butter. So from what I found out and doing my research on this car and people finding me over social media is, oh boy, Rick Tapped from Tap Performance Mechanic, Texas is the person who's been tuning this car. I'm going to go talk to him in person because damn, boy's talented. I've also been talking obviously with my boy Mac over Instagram. Great guy. Here, let's give her a little bit. But it's comfortable. It's predictable. I like that. The one thing with the V6 is, like, as it came to the final days of ownership of that car, we were doing so much of that vehicle that I had stopped building confidence in it. Which led me to the ultimate decision of selling it. Now, that's not to say that I sold Victor a bad car. It is tuned to a point now where it is safe and it's getting enough fuel. But to go further, I didn't have the confidence, not only monetarily, but also in its performance to do so. It just didn't make sense to me. So we didn't. With this, however, the giant holy shit difference is the aftermarket. This thing has a titan of an aftermarket. The amount of money that Modern Muscle Extreme is going to make off me, and hasn't yet, is ridiculous. I spent probably, I don't know, $4,000 there with the V6. It's going to be upwards of 10 to 15 in this thing. And that's totally fine because I trust that company. Those guys, every single time I had a question with the V6, they weren't like other companies where it's like, oh my God, no, we would never do that. That's a V6. No. Those guys are like, you're doing what? Hell yeah, use this. Cool. That's all I needed. So yeah, we're gonna be spending a lot of money there, but that is the number one difference. Well, 2 and 3. She's comfortable, she is predictable, and there is an aftermarket. Now, this thing has torque. If the graphs that were sent to me are correctly, this thing is over 500 wheel horsepower and like 454 foot-pounds of torque. And I mean, that doesn't sound like a massive difference. And it shouldn't feel like a massive difference. But boy, let me tell you, does it. From a standing start on this thing, I don't give a shit what tire you have on it, unless you were on a prep surface, a Mickey Thompson. Oh my God, I'm sorry, it's so shaky. Hopefully the camera is absorbing some of that. But if you have that stuff on here, and you're on a prep surface, you will dead hook and go. For those of you who aren't aware, the 1320 has the Demon suspension on it, so this thing will squat and go. I can change all kinds of different things in the drive modes. It is phenomenal. Where it really comes into play, so I'm driving through a school zone now. This is a bad turn. But where it really comes into play is if you aren't used to this kind of power level on the street, which let me tell you, I was not. This car is a bit of a handful to control. Now, I'm not saying it's uncontrollable. Obviously, I can control it. But the one thing on the V6 is the torque curve in that thing. So, you didn't really hit a massive amount of torque until you hit the boost curve, okay? Or you started hitting boost. So, you had a good 1,000, 1,400 RPM in order to be able to get up to that torque curve. And this thing, instantaneous. You're gonna blow the tires off. I don't give a shit what tire it is. If they're not warm and on a prep surface, you're going to blow them off. Absolutely. When I bought this thing, they had a joke of a tire on here. They had Cosmo Mucho Machos. The worst tire I have ever experienced in anything I've ever done in cars. Absolutely heinous. Currently, we actually dropped down a size because they were either 315 or 325 3520s. We are now on a 305 because we're only on a 10.5 inch wide wheel. The other one was actually curving over the rim of the wheel. Didn't really like that. So we changed it up. Now these are acting fine for what they are. Now keep in mind, we are running the Indy Firehawk 500s. I believe they're a summer tire. They are not an ultra performance tire. The reason why I ran these, I had these on the V6 before. We're going to be going into the raining season once winter is done here. And the rain season here is not a joke. You want something that can evacuate a little bit of water out of the tread. And I trust these tires to do that. But you're going to blow them off. Absolutely. If you were at a dead stop and you just smash on it, the first 2 seconds are going to be you leaving beautiful little lines on the road and a lot of smoke. Trust me, I've done it a few times now, unknowingly, not thinking about the fact that, hey, this is instantaneous torque now. And I've paid that price. So, that's number, I don't know, 4 or 5, whatever number 1. Damn it, we're just going to go through a list. But this thing acts completely different. Now, one of the big things also heading into the forced induction versus naturally aspirated torque, this thing revs out so fast. So fast. What I mean by that is, like, again, with, oh Lord, with a boosted application, you got to go through the rev range, good God, rev range, we're going to leave that in there because I'm a human. And as you get through the rev range, you hit to a point where boost kicks in. Once you kick in boost, it adds extra air, and your revs skyrocket from that point forward. If any of you have ever watched a video of a turbo car, it's like, that's boost kicking in. With this, there is no boost, but it does have the Texas Speed and Performance Stage 4 cam, and let me tell you, this thing revs out so ridiculously fast. Like, I'm not gonna bullshit, there's no reason to lie, but eventually we will be going forced induction on this thing. Is it going to happen anytime soon? No, not unless sponsorship talks come up. And you know what? To be honest with you, I'm not really chasing that right now. However, I have a massive itch right now to build this thing up NA. And what I mean by that is there's a forged bottom end that we can do on here. Now, keep in mind what I said there. There's a forged bottom end we can do on here. The reason why is this thing comes with powdered rods and the pistons aren't amazing. We all know the 6.4. I've talked about it in previous videos where I'm sure I've pissed off somebody. But this thing has a weak bottom end. Can't take more than 7 pounds of boost. Obviously, I mean, we've seen how many blown out blocks. That's a common thing. However, there are multiple drop-in kits where you can stay at 392 cubic inches, or you can go 429 or 430 cubic inches. The 426, for some reason, you have to actually go get machined. I don't understand it. Seems a little counterintuitive to me, but they have drop-in systems on the 429 or 430s. Now, there are multiple options online. Take your pick of what company you like. However, with those options, you do not have to machine. We can literally tear this thing apart, drop in, make sure all the tolerances and clearances are correct, new bearings, fill it with oil and zinc, do a break-in period, and we got a forged bottom end. That is spectacular. You want to know why? You know how much it cost? It's around $2,800. You know how much it was going to cost me to forge my V6? Over $5,000. And we're talking about kits here that can handle over 1,000 horsepower and wink at you. And yes, have I already been looking up damn transmission? You know I have. I would love to go with Paramount Performance again, but I mean, the deal that Southern Hot Rod has for the War Viking, that just can't be ignored. It's fantastic. But what I'm getting at here with talking about the forged bottom ends and this, that, and the other is you have two different compression points, okay, that you want to focus on. If you want to go NA, you want a higher compression bottom end. So with that 429, you can actually go 11.8 to 1. The higher the compression, the better for an NA motor, the more rev out. It's going to be a beautiful thing. Now, keep in mind that if you do that, you might as well go above and beyond. Go ahead and port your heads. Then there's the other option. The other option is you can lower the compression to a 9.8 to 1, which is good for, you got it, boost. So, we might be playing with both directions just because, fuck it. I would love to see this thing touch a 10 naturally aspirated. That would trip me out. That'd be amazing. Do I think I'm going to be the fastest scat pack in the world? No. Nor do I want to be the fastest scat pack in the world. I'm not chasing that. I am chasing having some fun with a car and being competitive when I go do dumb shit. What else? Man, I mean, I don't know. The aura around this car. You don't see a lot of these. I love that. It's trustworthy. But let's get into what you're all here for. Because I know everybody's like, well, obviously the Scat Pack is superior to the V6 in every way. It's not. Now, stock for stock, I think it would be absolutely superior. But, as we all know, I didn't keep anything stock on the V6. Nothing. Like zero. That thing had BC Racing coilovers, had a different change in suspension, brake upgrades. By the way, the brakes on this, phenomenal. 4-piston front and back. Holy shit, this car stops. And you want to be able to stop, because it's not a slow car. Some people, I can already hear it in the comments, it's a slow car, you don't know what you're talking about. All right, calm down, big guy. But the biggest thing, big girl's heavy. Big girl's real heavy. Now with the V6, we had that thing at just under 3,700 pounds with the full suspension, with full coilovers. That thing handled. And I know that comes off crazy to some people, but I had no problem throwing that thing around a corner. It didn't even faze me. With this, have not built that kind of confidence. Now, keep in mind, this does have the Demon suspension. It's a little bit higher off the ground, so the center of gravity is completely different. It's also a little bouncier with the Demon springs because, again, this is built for drag racing. This is a, without pissing people off, this is a low-end track pack. This is the baby Demon. It's a Demon with a 6.4, not a 6.2, before I get jumped in the comments again, without a blower. And it shows. Like, if you watch the videos of this thing hitting, she's squatched, she's gone. It's phenomenal. Trans brake, I play with that a little bit. That's kind of sketchy to me. We'll talk about that later. Line lock obviously works phenomenally. All the different modes act phenomenally. But taking this thing around a turn, the amount of just body roll and just inclusive oversteer is outrageous. And in these turns, you can feel every ounce of the extra weight. She's extremely tail happy. Some people love that. I want a car that handles, but I also understand what I bought. So that's really the only giant upside I see. The V6, I mean, obviously I built it, the car characteristics to what I wanted. I love that car. The thing was phenomenal. It did everything I needed it to do. It just got to a point where the next step didn't make sense. But you could get in that car, you could go take that car around turns and confidently feel like nothing was going to happen. And this, I am tiptoeing around turns and chilling because, well, not really interested in dying. Or crashing this car, because I actually really like this thing. I plan on this car getting extremely crazy. I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? What other kind of upsides and downsides do you see? I mean, obviously torque is addicting, especially in a torque without a boost curve is just, hey, let's roll down the windows. Here's a bridge. 3, 2, 1. I love it so much. Oh, that's never gonna get old. God, V6 guys, I'm sorry. I had to just throw this out there, man. We get that. We used to, pardon me. You get constantly, you'll never have the sound of V8. God damn, it's true. I'm sorry. No matter if you go catless and you buy a $10,000 Army Tricks exhaust and this, that, and it's just not going to sound like this. And that sound is addicting. Now, don't take that as a hit, V6 guys. Obviously, y'all are where I got my start. I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys are the fiber of what this channel is. But as we evolve, man, some opinions are going to change. And one is, damn, this car's fun. 5.7 guys, stop getting butthurt, man. I'm not literally attacking you guys. I'm literally giving you shit because I skipped over your engine. That's it. Calm down, it ain't that serious. Toughen up, buttercup. In closing today, guys, this car is just phenomenal. I love this thing. Again, obviously there's some things that can change. There's some things that are going to change. But in the meantime, I'm going to have my fun. We're going to get some racing in. We're going to keep going with as much as we can do before we bottom out. And what I mean by that is once we get the same number a couple times, well, we'll kill that. This video is long enough. Good Lord. Damn Dodges. Do me a favor, guys. Like, share, subscribe. We just broke 9,700. We're on the road to the 10,000. That's amazing. I mean, the response I've been getting after buying this car is just phenomenal. You guys have gone from like, oh my God, fucking V6, this guy's a douche, to, dude, this guy has calmed down. He's a lot happier, and he bought a badass car. And my numbers and analytics over both YouTube and Instagram show that. So, thank you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. Here comes the loud ass outro. Stay savage.